West Virginia bill would mandate curing trans people of being trans under 21. We talked about the first one here. West Virginia Senate Bill 194, a total ban on gender-affirming care for trans people up to 21 years old, and a mandate that all therapists and social workers attempt to cure trans people. Seems bad. The bill is broken into sections to target different aspects of transgender care. One section defines being trans as, quote, sexual deviation, and places it alongside pedophilia, exhibitionism, masochism, sadomasochism, fetishism, and more. This is, again, unambiguously Nazi rhetoric. Am I wrong to call this genocidal? No, it's completely unambiguous. It's literally like, they might as well label trans people undesirables, you know? Another defines minors for the purposes of this bill as being anyone under 21 years of age, so I guess you're a minor if you're 20. The bill then would ban gender-affirming care for anyone under this age, while also banning the usage of state funds for gender-affirming care. The most jarring provision in this bill, not found in any other gender-affirming care ban bill to date, is one that applies to all social workers, counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists, and therapists. The bill mandates that all mental health care professionals would be prohibited from, quote, exacerbating gender dysphoria, end quote, in those under 21 years of age by, quote, continuing such condition, delusion, or disorder with no intent of cure or cure pursuing recovery. Therapists would be mandated to cure gender dysphoria, as affirming their transgender patients would be considered continuing such condition, delusion, or disorder. So essentially, it would literally be illegal. It would be criminal consequences to a therapist being told by someone that they are trans, and the therapist going, oh, okay. Like the therapist would be legally mandated to say, no, you're mentally ill. That's not true. We need to cure these genocidal fucks. Yes, you know, Nazism, the real disease. We talked a little bit about that one, and I didn't talk about this one. Another bill, Senate Bill 195, would target transgender people as being obscene and would bar transgender exposure, performances, or display to any minor. So this is it, guys. It's basically everything I've ever said. If you are trans, it would make it illegal for you to be in public here. Finally, all the ambiguities and subtleties of genocidal legislation have been put to the side. Literally, you would not be able to exist in public. Functionally, you just wouldn't be able to exist. You wouldn't be able to go in public. You would be seen as a predator for even being in a public space in the presence of children. This could have the effect of barring trans people from being able to exist in public, as it would be difficult to avoid being seen as a trans person by a minor. It is true that going outside does sometimes mean you'll see kids, like at a mall or whatever else, you know? Speaking to this bill, Orr stated, this is a blatant attempt to criminalize and erase the trans community of West Virginia. Am I allowed to call this genocidal? Will the liberals take issue with me saying that? Literally, it is illegal for you to go in public? Because that is, of course, the functional effect of this. Seems pretty unambiguous, I feel. Let me see if I can find anything more on it. Where is they? Or the 195. You'd really think West Virginia would have other problems to deal with, like the fact that their entire state is a rotted out hole that's been cored by, you know, coal companies, but, you know, whatever. The bill title, by the way, is Protecting Minors from Exposure to Indecent Displays of Sexually Explicit Nature, which again is just the existence of trans people. Getting a feeling this is kind of bad, actually. Trying to see. Yeah, I legitimately do not see any other coverage of Senate Bill 195. Maybe if I go by the bill title name, Protecting Minors from Exposure to Indecent Displays of... Sure, let's see if that's getting coverage. Legiscan, Trans Legislator Tracker. Ah, here we go. An earlier version of the bill from mid-last year. Under West Virginia bills, exposing minors to trans people could be a crime. The bills primarily target sexually explicit performances, but would also ban schools from exposing students to any material that include trans people. Oh, no, sorry. This is a different one. This was a different time that they've done this, but it's not quite the same. So you just can't be trans? Yes, that is correct. How can they tell who is and isn't trans? In practice, they would just, like, try to clock you. If you're wearing gender-divergent clothing, if you look, I don't know, kind of clocky in a dress, there you go. You know, of course, I mean, it's the same way that they would do mass arrests of homosexuals, right? It's not exact science. They can track your medical data. Oh, but we're not just talking about whether or not you're medically trans. We're talking about whether or not you're trans, you know? Libs watching the trans genocide play out in real time. It's not finished. We can't call it a genocide just yet. Yeah, very true. Liberals are often looking like this, in my experience. This will hurt cisgender women to a funny degree, though. I don't know if it's necessarily funny, but yeah, of course. I mean, it'll make everyone's life worse, and nobody will benefit from it. You know, it's just a misery machine. It is a bill that will just worsen life on Earth because our enemies are evil. They're demons, as we've talked about so many times before. Well, we'll see if it passes. Would the Dems winning in 2024 do anything to fix this? Well, West Virginia is a GOP state, so, you know, outside of federal law and protection guarantee for stuff like this, you know, which should pass, but probably won't realistically. Not really. I mean, it's a state level thing. I mean, listen, okay, I'm a big boy federalist here, all right? I'm with the goddamn Hamiltons, all right? Bring all that shit. Fucking states' rights, more like states' wrongs, okay? We are going to prescribe some goddamn legislation, though we're not actually going to, I imagine. So we need to invade West Virginia. Yes, though the terrain will be difficult, as I understand it, but perhaps.